Hey, B. Listen, real quick. Did y'all watch Real Housewives of Atlanta? Oh, okay, then. Well, listen, I watched it too, but listen, I'm not doing no review on it yet. Okay, y'all know I had to get it out to my patrons first, so we'll talk about it over here on YouTube probably tomorrow. All right, but I just really came to touch on a little piece because K Michelle went down there to the Watch What Happens live. All right, and the first critique that I got is the fact that nobody had told my girl to get that lipstick up off her lips. Okay, at some point, I feel like halfway through the show, somebody gave her a heads up and she got it up off, and I'm like, why y'all got my girl just cheesing and she got all this damn red lipstick on her lips? But either way, it was what it was. She was on there with Ashley from Real Housewives of Rhode Island. When I tell y'all Ashley is adorable, that's a beautiful woman. I know some people are not feeling Ashley. I have yet to watch the episode of Real Housewives Rhode Island, or when it came on last night, but I will be tuning into it. Understand, okay? But so far, I'm liking Ashley and her quirkiness and all that she brings. Okay, I like that. I like that she's a little awkward, a little piece of different or whatever. I did see some people on social media saying that they don't know if she should be returning. And I'm like, just give my girl a little break. Give her another chance. Okay. Hold tight. Hold tight, please. But I will be checking that show out and I'll give y'all a review too. But let's get into more of K Michelle because she was asked about why she always expressing herself over there on the Twitter instead of saying shit to people's faces. Okay. And she said, well, it's easier to do that because I've always made Twitter my diary. You know what I'm saying? My little journal. That's where I go to get my thoughts off. And then she also said, being amongst this group of ladies, she wants to think before she speaks. But I also feel like, is that really thinking before you speak it if you still go to Twitter and you get off your thoughts of how you really feel? Try, I guess. Either way, K Michelle talks about the plot because Andy asked her, like, why you feel like the plot hasn't really landed with the viewers. And she said, well, I feel like it hasn't landed with them because, a lot of the people love their OGs and they feel like the OGs, they can't do no wrong. I agree and disagree. I think that is the case for quite a few of the fans, they don't like when you critique their faves, they will say that, as far as us reviewers shy, they will call us biased without recognizing their own biasness towards their faves because they only want you to give positive commentary about them, okay? Y'all be more biased than some of the people that be, talking about the show. However, y'all know I'm the queen of it, so I don't mind. Okay, queen biased over here. However, um, I think it could be a mixture, right? I think that some people don't want to hear anything wrong about their faves, but then at the same time, I feel like the people was just confused. They was just confused. Like for me, I was confused about the whole Drew situation of it all, making it seem like Drew was trying to put your hot pocket on this man and all this other stuff. I was a little confused by that. Now, as far as the Porsha situation, still slightly confused, right? There is a possibility that Porsha did that intentionally, okay? But I don't know. Like, I understand people's confusion about the situation at the end of the day. And that's why it just did not land. It did not land because it was not allowed to play out. It was not allowed to play out, as she said. She kind of wanted to get to it a little early because I think she ended up bringing that up too because Andy asked her about the oyster comment. And he said, had you never said anything, it would have never been brought up. And she's like, no, I feel like it would have been brought up. She felt like they were gearing up to bring it to her. Like if she pissed them off, made them mad, then they were gonna like use that against her. And so she kind of wanted to get ahead of it. I understand that. And because you did that is really why a lot of the people are confused because they like to see the plots play themselves out so that they can understand the anger or the reaction behind it. And so you put the cart before the horse. So the people was just confused saying that's all. So either way, she says that Porsha, when it came down to the African Nosh, okay? So it was the more recent ex, okay? Because I do believe they may have dated somebody in the past, okay? The McCoy guy, whatever the case is. But then now more recently, and I think they could have dealt with that person at different times, just like I guess similar with the Nosh situation of it all. So y'all know Nosh was a part of the Queen's Court. I thought he was a really good catch. I thought that she probably should consider him. She wasn't interested in him because why she talked about in an interview that she only went on the show to kind of like make Caston jealous and to show him that other men are out here that are willing to take me serious. Only to leave that show, go on and date somebody that was an NBA coach or whatever to further prove to Caston you should be with me. And it wasn't until her daddy cussed him the hell out as to when Caston decided to take everything serious and actually propose to her. But all in all, she says that Porsha, slept with her ex, the African ex, okay? And matter of fact, I kind of want to just play that little piece just for y'all, just for a hot second. Like, let me get that up real quick. Okay, so I think I got it up right here. Let's see.
Okay, you alleged that Porsha slept with your ex.
She did.
Okay.
Mm.
You tweeted that recently in the middle of the
my
night.
African ex.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sitting there the whole time. Imagine someone's bringing you into a group and you're sitting there and they're like, I love you so much. And the whole time, the last man that I was publicly around, they even thought I married him and not my husband. The last man that I was publicly around, you're sitting up there and you're screwing him right now. And, you know, you're telling him about me and my business. And when I call, you're showing him that I'm calling. I don't know what type of groupie activity that is.
Ooh, not groupie activity.
I don't know, but you can't bring me into a group and say you're my friend and you knowing you're sitting up here screwing, married or not. You can't do that.
Okay.
All right. So that is what K. Michelle had to say about Miss Porsha Williams dealing with Nosh, right? And I'm not on nobody's side with this. For me, I'm not on nobody's side because I have questions. Porsha, in the show, you saw Porsha like not understanding, like, girl, when I dealt with him, it wasn't at the same time that you dealt with him, right? But I'm like, at the same time though, Porsha, you remember how last season you wish that Drew would have gave you a heads up about Dennis or whatever the case was? I feel like it's no different, especially with you not dealing with Dennis like that. And you know Drew was not dealing with Dennis like that, but you let Shamia kind of like continue to push or force that narrative or whatever the case was. And you said that it was because of your storyline that you wanted to know. I feel like let Kay know too. I feel like it would have been okay to let Kay know just in case somebody wanted to like use that against both of y'all at a later time. I thought that it would have been pretty okay for her to do. But at the same time, Kay, now you're saying that she was sleeping with the man? That's not what you said in the car with Pinky. You said that she was still communicating with him. They may have dated, but you also said that they talked, but then you turned around and said that they dealt with each other. Now, when I heard dealing with each other, I'm thinking that it's something physical. So I'm like, well, did they talk? Was it physical? I was a little confused about that part. So did she really sleep with the man or did she not sleep with the man? Now keep in mind, I don't put that past nobody sleeping with nobody, but I just would like to understand them. But at the end of the day, when it comes to dating, I do feel like a heads up could have been given to her, because if you want that same respect on your end with a person that you were no longer dealing with, right? Then I feel like it would have been only fair. It would have been like a quick conversation and a move on. And I know some people are going to try to change or move the meter because the conversation is there going to be, but they have a child together. They have a child together, but that wasn't the reason that was put out there last year as to why Porsha had an issue with it. It was more so because she was likely going to be using that man for a storyline, and she didn't want Drew to do the same thing. So they overhyped the situation between them, knowing that it was just a working relationship. It was nothing that deep. Drew only had the man on the show for like, what, 1 or 2 times or whatever the case was. It didn't hinder Porsha's storyline at all. But a lot of y'all understood why Porsha should have at least been given a heads up. So if that's how we feel, then it wouldn't hurt to give K. Michelle a heads up now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't really be on nobody's side, because it's like give the heads up, but then at the same time it's like, why you saying that lady hunched on that man when that didn't seem like what it was in the beginning? So did she hunch on him or did she not hunch on him? I don't really know. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments. Another thing that I want to add real quick is the fact that, K. Michelle has talked about how she don't want to, put something on somebody else's hot pocket. She don't want nobody putting that else on her hot pocket or putting someone else on her hot pocket, i.e. black or anything like that, trying to connect me to that man in that way. Then I will say it's true. Porsha pretty much said that she was dating Nosh, or she was seeing him at a different time that K. Michelle was seeing him. But even with them seeing each other, did they actually have sex? IDK if they did, but if they didn't, I will hope that you did not do to Porsha what you did not want done to you, which is putting another man on her hot pocket, if that was not necessarily the case. Now, as I've already told y'all, I don't put nothing past nobody and what they doing with their hot pocket. However, that was just something that I wanted to highlight because, in the conversation originally, it didn't seem like Phaedra, I'm sorry, not Phaedra, but K. Michelle was connecting her like that, right? Because the man was like, because I think she said, well, why don't you see Porsha? Why don't you date Porsha or something? And he was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. I mean, she asked me to go out in public with her. And I was like, nah, I ain't even trying to go out in public with her. So I don't know. I am going to go back and rewatch the episode, though. You know, I am going to rewatch the episode, and I may have different thoughts about it at that time. But as of right now, like, I ain't really on nobody's side with this, okay? So, like, she could have told K. Michelle, but then let's not add more to the story if there is no more to the story. You feel what I'm saying? And we'll break all of that down at a later time. But was there anything else K. Michelle got into? Well, she talked about her husband's DICK with Andy and how big it was. You know, she just kept mentioning that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she also said when it came down to Nosh that, you know, Porsha was over there telling him her business. She did say that. She said that, you know, when she would call Porsha, I guess Porsha would pick the phone up and show it to Nosh, like, oh, you know, K. Michelle is calling me right now. Now, this is why it's so interesting. Okay. It's really interesting because this is similar to what Porsha was saying about Kelly, right? So it's like, oh, you know, you mess with this married man, and I was with his friend at the time, and he calling such and such, and when he's calling such and such, he's like, oh, I just got done smashing Kelly or whatever the case was. Very, very weird. And now to me, I kind of feel like I see why K. Michelle may have been on alert just a little bit. Like, like how when she was sitting down with Kelly, because it's like, damn, that sounds too close to what I heard about you and my ex. Like, that's what the fuck, you know. It's very interesting, very, very similar in conversation just a bit. Now Portia did mention at the end of the episode that, you know, Kelly was tied to some preacher or something like that, and I'm like, interesting. Now what preacher would pick up the phone and call his homeboy bragging about how he just smashed this chick and now headed to his wife? Now, I'm not, listen, I don't know preachers like that. Preachers be up to all kind of stuff. I'm just trying to figure out what preacher would be on that type of timing. Oh, okay. Y'all let me know now. Let me know down in the comments. And also, I'm looking forward to us getting into the episode, but y'all know I got to go back, watch it, take my notes and stuff, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. But I'm still confused as to why K. Michelle talked to Porsha with some damn sense, but then snapped on Sidora just for bringing up something very mild. Like, you know, huh? Soon as K. Michelle mentioned black, and Drew said something to her, like, she said something, and then K. Michelle's like, why do you care? And I'm like, because you said that she was trying to connect you to that man in that way, and you're making her the problem. So why would she not care if black is the one making you feel some type of way, and or the mentioning of you and black is making you feel some type of way, and you're putting it off on Drew? Why would she not care? If that's the case, then somebody can pose the question to you about why do you care when it comes to Porsha and Nosh if you got a whole nother partner right now? You know what I'm saying? Or not even that, but y'all not dating no more, right? Somebody could pose that question, but my response will still be, hey, what's good for the goose must be good for the gander. If Porsha wanted somebody to give her a heads up last year, she could have gave Kay a heads up this year, right? But it's just, it just looks a bit of crazy right now, all right? She did play like a yodeling game or something, where she brought up the cast and who was the most of something. She said Angela was the most welcoming, Drew was the least welcoming, but you didn't even give Drew the chance to be welcoming to you. Okay. She says Porsha, she heard the most rumors about. Phaedra had the best fashion. Angela was a shade assassin. And then she said Drew was the one that had skeletons in her closet. Based on what she knows now, she would never go into business with any of these ladies, and she will only trust Phaedra with the secret that she would not mind Phaedra sharing with the other damn ladies, because she know Phaedra gonna tell them anyway. Ooh, this here is a complete mess. And she's still not telling nobody who told her about the plot and the scheme. That is something she said we need to learn as we watch the show, and maybe even at the damn reunion. Child, it is a whole ass mess. Okay, Drew did get down on social media where she had some things to say to K. Michelle, and we'll probably get into that on tomorrow. or whatnot, but she just didn't understand, like, why are you coming at me with all of this energy? Well, girl, I don't know you, and I didn't do nothing to you. Like, I'm so confused. But can I say before I go, I like that energy that Porsha gave to Kelly at the end of the episode. When she gave her that quick snap, I said, baby, them the type of reflexes I'm talking about. That's what I want to see, quick reflexes. But also, I love how Kelly picked up that glass and was putting it in her face. I said, y'all better come on. Okay? Don't be scary. And I love that, Kelly wasn't getting her scared. I said what I said, and you're not finna do nothing about it. It's a mess. But you guys can leave your thoughts and comments down below on what all I talked about. Of course, I'm Jamie. That's me. I will catch you guys in the next one, honey. Bye.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking the drama.